What's up, guys? Welcome to my new series called Conspiracies in Technology. This is a series I thought was pretty interesting just because I'm learning some things. The military has had some technology quite some time before the public gets it. That's something that I've recently come across, and I was like, wow, that sounds pretty interesting. So let's make a video about it.
Yeah, bro.
The first thing we're starting off here is, when did the military first have access to computers? U.S. military's first access to computers was in the 1940s,
Oh, surprise, surprise.
being used by the U.S. Army in 1945 to calculate artillery firing tables. By the late 1960s, the relationship evolved into a network called ARPANET to the internet.
What?
So the World Wide Web was made available to the public on April 30th, 1993.
We don't care.
So ARPANET was actually established in 1969, and the public didn't get this until 1993. And released the software code into the public domain. Isn't that interesting? CERN had the internet first, but yet the military, the U.S. military, or the Army, pardon, I'm trying to get this exact for everyone. The Army had the first iteration of what we call the internet, the ARPANET, in the 1960s.
Duh.
So it took 33 years for that to hit public domain.
Why?
Even then, public access to the underlying internet and its services, such as email, came earlier through gateways and online services like CompuServe and AOL, with the foundational internet protocol, the TCP, being established in 1983.
Seriously?
Boy, I find that super fascinating. So basically, this series could just be called Computer History, but I like to keep it spicy.
What the fuck?
Call it Conspiracies. When was the first commercial PC actually sold in stores? This one was pretty interesting.
Cool.
PCs were sold by mail order in 1974, with the Altair 8800 being the first commercially successful model. But personal computers didn't appear in major stores until the late 1970s.
Stop!
Went on to sell in late 1974 through mail order ads. And the Apple was available in stores in 1976. I know we look at computers or where they're at today, and I bet back then, hell, even when I had my first computer back in 1995, I could not imagine having what we have today. Our hard drives were in megabytes or kilobytes, and RAM was in megabytes as well, and now we're looking at gigabytes.
What the fuck?
It just blows me away. And then, so we're going to go to the price of the Altair 8800. In 1974, it was sold as a kit for $395, a roundabout, and as a fully assembled unit for about $495 to $500, I would say.
We don't care.
The basic components like the 8080 processor, 256 bytes of memory. Bytes, not even kilobyte, bytes.
What?
But it required users to assemble it themselves and lacked a keyboard, monitor, and peripherals. So you're looking at, for just the computer that you had to put together, about $400. And then you get peripherals involved. I don't even know how much that stuff costs, but I'm assuming it was around $300 for everything. For the monitor, the mouse, and the keyboard.
What?
That's what I would expect. We'll Google it right now. Alright, so our AI buddy here says in 1986, the combined cost for a monitor, keyboard, and mouse varied widely, typically ranging from a few hundred to over $1,000. That is nuts. To over $1,000 for a keyboard, mouse, and freaking monitor, bro?
Yeah, bro.
So yeah, you're looking at, if you built it yourself, about $600. If you did not build it yourself, you're looking about $700-800. That is insane. It's kind of funny. They went from just being an off mail order industry, sending ads to people's houses, to being this huge flipping industry where you can order a brand new PC online, if that's your thing. But there's still people today that like to put them together. So they must have enjoyed putting them together back then.
Duh.
But there's no way to tell how many people actually ordered it, you know. And even the printer wasn't included in that price. So you're spending about $1,000, I would say.
What the fuck?
For a new computer when they first came out. And then in the 1980s, PC prices varied significantly. It says from under $300 for entry-level home PCs like the ones that I probably had. I know my dad bought a Gateway, because Gateway was super popular. And then he bought a Dell. And the Dell, my dad freaking just loved it. He would not buy anything but Dell. Still to this day. I had to talk him into me building him a gaming computer because he wanted to buy a Dell online and pay full price. And I was like, look, Dad, I've got these extra parts. We can build you a gaming rig. And then he looked at mine and was like, oh, wow, that's awesome. Yeah, let's go that route because that looks cooler.
We don't care.
Then you had the Commodore VIC-20 to over $1,500. And then the IBM. And even tens of thousands for high-end specialized systems. That's probably what you're going to find for offices and workload type PCs, I'm assuming.
Shit.
And then the first PC was sold in stores around, let's see here, it says 1974. They were sold by mail order. And then 1976, Apple was the first one that was in an actual store.
Duh.
And the TRS-80, which I've never seen either of those. But those were the first mass-marketed PCs to be sold in stores to the general public.
Cool.
So you're looking at, from the time you could buy it in the store, from the time that the military first had it, you're looking at 30-something years from the first computer, and then you're looking at a little less than 10 years, about 7 years between the time the internet was actually established and people having it in their homes.
Bruh.
This out over a good period of time. So we can only think of what the U.S. Army was using this for. It says, you know, ballistic calculations or mortar calculations and all that stuff. But no, they were doing some advanced research for sure. Definitely some Secret Service type stuff.
Dun 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 dun.
Confidential, I'm telling you. But anyway, I think this is a fun little piece here. Just to throw up some hopefully good content between the time that I can actually afford to buy the PC that I assembled on the video for you guys, and that we're going to actually put it together once I can afford to buy the products. And hopefully I can teach somebody how to build a computer. And then we'll see if graphics on CPUs can actually be better than a graphics card nowadays.
No.
And then I've got some other ideas about some AI generated videos, like what can AI do now? That will probably be one of my next segments. Or searching Craigslist for parts. Some outrageous ads. Might do some of that stuff. Anyway, I've got a pretty good feeling about the future of this channel. And I appreciate anyone who stopped in. If you could hit that like and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate that. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for tuning in.